to me, Brent.
We got
Talk to me.
Zach Bivens, one of the most prolific players in the scene, a world's competitor, a North American top 8 finisher. I mean, multiple DLC tops across last season. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him.
And one of my fantasy picks for the day. But yeah, we're off to the races. Bivens inking the malicious, mean, and scary, and playing that Basil. So we have Emerald, Sapphire, and on the other side of the field, we've got Nathaniel, who is going to open with that turn 1 Cursed Merfolk.
Quests for 2. If you challenge into it with that Basil, you're going to have to discard one of the cards in your hand. Emerald, Amethyst, a lot of the deck builds for the mid-range kind of tempo stuff doesn't really deal a lot with Cursed Merfolk, so I'm going to assume that this is the quote-unquote burn version.
Yes, and I will say that again, the burn version. Burn is a term that is used across multiple card games that exist, which basically refers to achieving your win condition in a non-conventional style. So in this game, Lorcana, we typically quest for lore to get to 20, but there are other types of decks that can gain lore in different ways, and this is what is going to be known as burn. Are you thinking, are you allowed to say that? Yes, it is official. We are calling it a burn deck, but I will give a shout out the Speci Special. This is absolutely a Speci. This is absolutely a Speci creation. So this is going to be a super fast deck for Nathaniel. But Zach Bivens with the Emerald Sapphire. Talk to me, Brent.
I am sorry to interrupt, but we just got a malicious, mean, and scary hard cast to wipe out all of the characters on Nathaniel's side of the board. We're talking about both of the Cursed Merfolks and the Pegasus gift for Hercules here.
Which all have 1 willpower, so they were scared. They were certainly scared.
And they found something malicious, mean, and scary as Nathaniel plays down the Scrooge McDuck, the Shush Agent, and discards one of the cards because you get to draw and discard.
Yeah, fantastic new card. When it is challenged, you may return it to your hand. So to get rid of this Scrooge, you need something like a Strength or a Raging Fire or a Hades. You cannot answer it via a challenge. Bivens playing down that Cinderella, Dreams Come True, another very effective card from set 10, Whispers in the Well. At the end of your turn, if you played a Princess, you can ink any card from your hand, doesn't need to be inkable, and draw a card.
And on Nathaniel's side here, we have 2 of the item cards that are crucial to this deck. The Amethyst Chromacon, which will allow both players to draw a card, and the Enigmatic Inkcaster, which says that when you exert it, if you've played 2 or more cards this turn, could be any cards, you get to gain a lore.
Does that include itself, Brent?
That includes itself.
Good.
That's why he gained a lore there from the Amethyst Chromacon and the Enigmatic Inkcaster.
Goodness me, what a card. So a couple of items coming down, and certainly speaks to yesterday, obviously, as already been mentioned, there was a pretty large side event going on, over 800 players, and we were seeing a lot of item removal. Obviously, 1-drop Clarabelle is pretty meta at this point for the Emerald decks, but I was seeing some Benjas. I was seeing some Wasabi. So people putting some respect on the items in format at the moment, like the 2 you see here, and another very relevant one for dogs, the Emerald Chromacon.
And Zach Bivens, right when it looks like, okay, he has the 2 cards that he wants, right? Zach Bivens says, no way.
No, sir.
We are going to throw down the John Silver Alien Pirate, which means that when he comes to play, he gets to choose a character, which is the Scrooge McDuck, and forces them to be reckless, which means that they have to challenge if they're able to. Not a lot of songs in Nathaniel's deck here.
No.
So,
I wouldn't expect any, other than maybe something like, I don't even, maybe you're welcome, but no, I don't think so. I think this deck is just all gas,
it's all
no
gas.
breaks. Yarramin! But we are off to the races. Nathaniel already at 5 lore, but Bivens able to ramp effectively, got that John Silver down, as you say, and this is going to put pressure on Nathaniel's characters, basically applying Reckless every turn. And down comes another Chromacon, and as you mentioned, whenever Nathaniel chooses to trigger this Chromacon, it also lets your opponent also take a draw, and Zach's going to do that. Thanks for the cards.
Zach also sang "You're Welcome"
did
on the Amethyst Chromacon last turn. I would have thought it would be the Enigmatic Inkcaster, but Zach going and saying, you know what, giving you more cards and giving you more opportunity in these early turns is going to be more dangerous. didn't matter. Nathaniel had a second one, but it slows him down a little bit because these decks are lower to the ground. They don't use a lot of ink traditionally, so being able to put down another Chromacon slows him down a bit, but only by 2 ink.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it still matters, right? Because if you've got 2 Amethyst Chromacons, then Nathaniel was just going to keep gassing himself up the entire game. The deck doesn't really have a lot of draw outside of the Chromacon. Obviously, Scrooge draws, but then you have to discard a card, and that is one of the weaknesses of this Emerald Amethyst burn deck, that you can really efficiently run out of resources. You're really relying on Amethyst Chromacon and a card like Show Me More, which lets both players draw 3 cards to keep yourself in the game. So I think Bivens very correctly identifying that the extra cards for Nathaniel is a little more scary.
And these John Silvers putting in work, showcasing why it is a staple of the Emerald Sapphire deck. A deck that loves to go slow. The more controlled deck is going to be able to slow down his opponent, who is looking to gain speed, right? Gain momentum, and says not only can your Scrooge McDuck not quest here, your Flynn Rider, Spectral Scoundrel, will not be able to quest either. Even if you boost him, you might be able to take something out here, but
that's not really what Nathaniel's looking to do. You're not really looking to challenge, are you, mate? You just want to get that lore. So this pair of John Silvers is going to put in a lot of work. We're going to double. Taking out that Basil Practiced Detective. Not a lot of choice, unfortunately. You see that Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom in the hand as well for Nathaniel, one of the most efficient ways to gain lore, one of the quote-unquote burn cards in the deck. Again, burn not an official terminology of the game, but a very common fan term across TCGs, and we have been given the all clear that we can start calling it burns.
And the Honey Marin, right here, the Northuldra Guide, comes down, and if a character is exerted on Zach's side of the board, which it was, you get to gain a lore, which is auto lore, right? Straight on play. That's the whole name of the deck. You're trying to go in, you're trying to gain lore as quickly as possible using all of these different strategies and all of these cards that gain you auto lore. But it looks like it's not going to be enough, as Zach Bivens is doing a phenomenal job of putting down the threats that are going to interrupt Nathaniel's game plan.
And here is the Infernal Schemer, or shout out to European caster Kim. Schemer. Schemer.
And there is no downside for Zach Bivens to putting that into the inkwell. Whenever he comes down, can choose a character, put it into Nathaniel's inkwell. Zach saying, I don't care how much ink you got, I'm going to outrace you and get to 20 before you.
The premier removal in the game, Brent. And there we just saw that draw card, Show Me More. Both players going to look into the magic mirror and receive 3 cards. Again, Nathaniel not really caring about how many cards Bivens has. He just wants to keep himself in the game. But that's it. We're over to game 2 already, Brent. What went wrong there?
No, what went wrong is John Silver coming down and having double John Silvers to be able to force Nathaniel into challenging his characters takes away the best part of the Scrooge McDuck Shush agent, which is that if Zach challenges, it goes right back to hand. I can keep drawing, discarding. Zach says, no.
Nose up.
No.
I think that Malicious, Mean, and Scary as well, super early, like you mentioned, with the double Merfolk and the gift to Hercules Pegasus. That was a brutal tempo turn.
Nathaniel was not playing around the Malicious, Mean, and Scary, and Zach expertly put it down right when it mattered, took the tempo in his favor, and ran away with that game.
And again, if you're a newer player, Malicious, Mean, and Scary is a new song card where you place 1 damage counter on each opposing character. You do not choose, so it gets around ward, and you are placing a damage counter instead of dealing damage, so it gets around resist. So Malicious, Mean, and Scary will put 1 damage on all of your characters, and really this typically sets up for that Prince Philip Vanquisher of Foes, which banishes all opposing characters with any damage. But here, perfectly reasonable just to get rid of these small guys.
Right, when the bulk of your characters have 1 willpower only,
feels bad.
You gotta be looking out for it.
Which is weird, right, Brent? Because typically this is the matchup that Nathaniel wants to see.
Exactly.
You want to see these Sapphire decks. Like I've said this in my own content recently that hey, if you bring this green-purple burn deck, if you run into enough Sapphire, you might just auto win. But Bivens proving to us here and there, no, I can deal with this, so maybe I'm wrong.
Right, and now we're going to get to see Nathaniel on the play here. The quested Cursed Merfolk, the Pegasus gift for Hercules, 2 of them coming down, both of them evasive. Quest for 1, which not super impressive, but
the evasive, very hard to deal with, right? Like, there aren't going to be many characters in Bivens' deck that have that evasive keyword. Of course, only evasive characters can challenge evasive characters, unless you've got alert, another keyword, but shouldn't be any alert going on here. So we really are relying on that malicious, mean, and scary, or as the game goes on, things like your welcome, Hades, etc.
And Zach will go ahead and discard that Hades after challenging into the Cursed Merfolk. And Zach has 2 malicious, mean, and scaries in hand.
Are we going to see an encore?
Nathaniel expertly plays down the Ursula, saying, you're not gonna catch me a second time on the malicious, mean, and scary play.
But he's got 2.
Zach's got 2 and says, yes, I will.
I have nice try, but I am absolutely taking this play. We're going to see Bobby Zimmerowski, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Coming down, cycling a card. You get to draw 1, discard 1 when you play him. And now Zach has to have a little bit of a think. Do you pull the trigger on the malicious, mean, and scary here? Wipe out the 2 Pegasus, because it's really only representing 2 lore per turn here.
Sure, but it's all going to add up. But I imagine Bivens is putting some stock into the idea of wanting to establish a singer for it, right?
Exactly.
Because at the moment, he would just have to hard cast it, paying 3 ink. But we could play the Cinderella this turn. I think we haven't inked for turn yet for Zach. Yeah, I think he's umming and ahhing with inking that John Silver. So he may be tempted to play that Cinderella Dreams Come True. And apparently I am good, Brent. Apparently I know ball. He does play down that Cinderella, which again, if you play the Princess this turn, then at the end of your turn, you may ink a card and draw a card. And Cinderella is a princess, so she will trigger for herself.
Absolutely. One of the tough parts here, though, is that Zach has now discarded a Hades into the discard off of the Cursed Merfolk. He just put down into his Inkwell off of the Cinderella trigger another Hades. So now 2 of his Hades Infernal Schemers are gone, and you're going to kind of need that removal later on if we get to if we get to 7 here, because there is a world where Nathaniel just runs away with this. We're already at 8 lore.
Yeah, we're already off to the races. You might be right, the lack of Hades could come back, but we do, of course, have access to the Prince Philip combo. We're a little way from it. I'm not sure if Bivens is playing the 3-drop Prince Philip as a shift target. Some of these Emerald Sapphire decks do choose to do that, but not sure if it's in the deck, and there certainly isn't one on the board at the moment. We will ink the Vanquisher of Foes.
And now we can sing the Malicious, Mean, and Scary with the Cinderella Dream Come True, or Hardcast. We're hardcasting 2 of them!
That's getting rid of everything except Ursula Deceiver. All of a sudden, she's all alone. And
now the Cinderella comes in. Yeah, just hardcast both of them and challenge in with the Cindy. A lot of people would not see that line. That's brilliant from Zach Bivens, clearing the entire thing.
What board? Down comes the Amethyst Chromicon, though. Hopefully going to get us some more cards. And now we're going to see They Never Come Back, which will allow Nathaniel to pick 2 characters that may not ready at the start of the next turn, and he can draw a card. This is seeing a lot of play recently. It's perfect for targeting and choosing those pesky illusions like Iago, Giant Spectral Parrot, and Giant Cobra, etc. But also nice just to slow the opponent down and just help yourself stay ahead in that race. So very nice. We will not ready.
Notably, you do get a chance to also draw a card off of that, so it also replaces itself while keeping Bivens a little bit on the back foot here, but...
Dude, I have to say, They Never Come Back is terrifying. You remember that scene in Pinocchio? Like, it's terrifying. Absolutely gives me nightmares, but it is a pretty good card. Down comes that Shush Agent. This will also be available not too far from now as a promo. Of course, we had the Lilo Escape Artist box promo. We've had the Elsa Fifth Spirit, and it won't be too long until we get this Scrooge McDuck Shush Agent as a beautiful alt art. I'm excited to get my hand on some of them, Brent.
I want to point out something that we may have missed here.
Go on.
Zach Bivens played down the Basil Undercover Detective. Now, typically, you bounce back one of your opponent's characters, but Zach smartly bounces back his own 1-cost Clarabelle, the clumsy guest.
Why would you do such a thing, Brent?
Because for just an additional 2 ink, you can banish a chosen item, taking out one of those Amethyst Chromicons that last game we were talking about, one of the crucial parts of Nathaniel's deck and strategy.
My God. That's me. Hades does come down, though. It seems that a lot of Infernal Schemers are near the top of Bivens' deck, so that's going to come down, put that Shush Agent straight into the Inkwell. Again, the Shush Agent will never be banished in a challenge. It will always return to hand. So you do need something like a Hades or a Strength or something like that. So the Shush Agent into the Inkwell. Nathaniel's going to trigger a couple of these Chromicons. Oh, look at that fancy Pegasus.
Not a bad turn at all here. The question is, do you go ahead and boost the Flynn Rider, which will give you an additional lore pip as well as 2 extra strength. So now that Flynn Rider is a 3/2 that quests for 2.
That one card left in Nathaniel's hand is probably not sticking around too long, because you already mentioned this Basil's ability on play, you get to bounce something, but if you quest with the Basil, then your opponent must discard a card at random, and if you've only got one card in hand, then
not so random.
Not so random, yeah, absolutely. He is expecting it. You see Nathaniel there kind of preparing to put it in the discard, even pointed at the Basil expectantly, but maybe Bivens has another plan. Maybe this Basil is going to go to karaoke night and sing You're Welcome. Who knows?
Who knows indeed. Zach with a full grip of cards in hand here.
Yeah, these Chromicons have kept him healthy, right?
Thinking through the decisions, I mean, we got 8 ink. We got a lot of options available here. I mean...
2 Malicious, Mean, and Scary already gone. Oh, was it 3, actually? Because he discarded 1.
He discarded 1 and then played 2.
Yeah,
so 3 of them are already gone.
That's 3 gone already. And I think that's the 3rd Hades, right? Because 1 was discarded.
Yep.
And then another on the board, and there's a chance that 1 was put into the... I don't think we've seen a T-Po, actually.
So 1 got discarded, 1 got put into the Inkwell off of the Cinderella trigger, and then now 1 has played down onto the board.
So only 1 Hades and 1 Malicious, Mean, and Scary left in the deck. I also know that there's at least 1 Philip in the Inkwell. So running low on our big removal cards, but hopefully Bivens is keeping this board in check enough that it will not matter.
And I'm seeing a lot of different decision paths here. I'm seeing a You're Welcome. Do we want to shuffle back one of these Amethyst Chromicons, take away some of the draw, right? Do we want to play down a Clarabelle Light on her hooves? Start getting some big contesters into the board.
And that 1 card left in hand for Nathaniel is that Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, just an immediate gain 2 lore. So if that Basil gets rid of that, that's going to be pretty good for Bivens. But again, you just said, maybe we have some You're Welcome plays to play here. That being said, I would imagine the Cinderella is the natural singer for a card like that.
There's also, do we throw down the Clarabelle Clumsy Guest, right? Play it down, pay 2, take out one of these Amethyst Chromicons. I mean, the name of the game here is, can Zach establish a board wide enough while removing Nathaniel, who is in the lead on lore, right? While removing enough of his characters to be able to make up the deficit, the 4 lore deficit here.
Sure. Really taking a moment now to consider all of the options. That being said, from body language, they may have been asked to pause play just for a moment, and we do seem to have some lore guides approaching the table, just making sure that everything is above board. But I want to say it again, Brent, I'm a little shocked at Nathaniel losing game 1. Again, if you bring the Emerald Amethyst burn deck, then you really want to see these Sapphire decks. But I really think that Malicious, Mean, and Scary from Bivens on turn 3 of game 1, getting rid of the Pegasus and the Merfolk was absolutely huge.
Yeah, 1 word. Clutch.
Clutch, there you go. What a great word. But yeah, we've got plenty of Lorcana action. If you are joining us right now on Twitch, thank you so much. We hope that you'll be with us the entirety of the weekend. This is DLC Richmond, Virginia. We've got a couple of fantastic new casters on the team. One of them sat right next to me. It's my pleasure to welcome Brent Mackay. We've also got Z-Bex, who will be on the casting next, actually, round 3, I do believe. But you've already met her in the lounge. Very excited. And of course returning, myself, Rebecca, Katie, and the wonderful Liam.
We are in the middle of round 2. Zach Bivens, also known as by some the People's Princess,
Princess,
a lovable figure in the community. Both of these, I was about to call them characters. Both of these players are 1-1 here. They're 1-0 each, rather, and Zach Bivens took the first game. We're going to see if Nathaniel is able to pull ahead and tie up the game here, go to a decisive game 3. But, yes, this is a pretty crucial match early in the day. You want to get your wins in. You want to build the momentum.
Yeah, an early loss can be quite brutal, to be honest. It's not impossible to win your way back and still claw your way into day 2. But again, you really, if you're going to lose day 1, you would rather it be later on in the day. Both these players already 1-0, so looking to continue that momentum. I would have, from what I'm seeing, I think we are trying to negotiate a take-back. This is something that has been written into the core document rules of Lorcana very recently, where there are circumstances where a player may be able to take back a move. Again, this is always, I'm going to say that again, always at the discretion of a lore guide. You should never be like, again, casual play, do what you want, but at an official event, you should, like, if you want to do a take back, it's not up to you to decide you're allowed. It's not up to your opponent to decide, yes, that's fine. Call a lore guide. Make sure that everything is above board, because there are situations where, written into the core rules of Lorcana, it is perfectly okay to do a take back. Maybe you inked something, and maybe you didn't actually mean to ink that. Maybe you, like, I've done it before, right? It's just a dexterity error. You're shuffling your hand, you're thinking through your plays. Maybe you say, okay, I play this, and you put something different on the table, and then you immediately go, oh, that's not what I meant to play. But still, just make sure everything is above board, and if it is able to be taken back, then the lore guide will certainly help you to get there. But we want to make sure that people aren't losing to just... We want skill to matter as much as possible, right? We want to know that our players are making the moves they actually want to make sure that they have a good understanding of the board state and everything going on. So I'm all for it. I think it makes us more inclusive. It's going to be a lot more newcomer friendly for new people joining the game. Again, look, Disney Lorcana trading card game is a lot of people's first trading card game. So certainly some teething as we get used to this new system, but I think it's a net positive overall.
I agree with everything you just said. I don't know that I have many more points to add, but when you are in the middle of playing, especially on a match like this where it's a feature match, the cameras are on, the lights are bright, it's a little bit warm, there's a crowd of people gathered around. So let me paint the picture for everybody here, folks. In past DLCs, at least the ones that I've been to, there was not a sort of viewing area for the feature match. Now there's crowds of people gathered around that can watch the game. The pressure is on, the stakes are high, and if you accidentally do something and you want to take it back, I think that the game should be about skill. It shouldn't be about
100%.
Who can make the least amount of mistakes at all times, every single time. Who's a 100% robot of efficiency, right?
And I think we're actually getting a little fast forward there from the production team just to help us get through this bar. Again, we are not completely live right away because we want to minimize as much downtime as possible, right? We want to bring you as much Lorcana action throughout the day. Obviously, the focus is always going to be on the games. Of course, we've got some lovely lounge segments, some interviews, some fun games. Again, Disney Lorcana Trading Card Game is for a variety of different types of people who are coming to the event or watching the events for different reasons. So we want to minimize the downtime and make sure there is as much action as possible. So there will be delays throughout the day, but we will aim to be completely live by at least the finals tomorrow. Potentially sooner, but at least the finals on day 2 will be completely live. And hey, again, this is all to make sure that that Be Right Back screen is on your stream as little as possible.
And this is one of the benefits here, that when we have a long lore guide call like this where things have to be discussed, we can fast forward a little bit. I didn't even realize that it was going in fast forward. I thought I was just having fun and time was flying by.
Absolutely. Brent, honestly, a conversation with you, I'll do it all day, mate. It really is a pleasure to have you here. It's certainly interesting, this Flynn Rider, one of the new whispers that were introduced in set 10, a really cool new mechanic, Boost, which could be Boost 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe it'll go up to 7 one day, who knows, but essentially Boost allows you to pay the cost of Boost 1, Boost 2, whatever it says, and then you can put the top card of your deck underneath that card, and that will in turn trigger an ability. Maybe in Flynn Rider's instance, he gets an extra lore pip and he becomes a 3/2 body. There are plenty of other pretty relevant Boost characters, the Cheshire Cat being one of the main ones. Okay, so I do believe what's happening here, I think Nathaniel tried to pass and then realized that this Basil was going to remove this card in his hand. So instead, I think he wants to not boost the Flynn Rider so that he has that extra ink to play the Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom in hand so that Bivens then isn't able to discard it with the Basil. That's not 100% certain. That's just, again, we're watching this for the first time, same as you. That's the kind of read I'm getting.
Right, and it's not like we have the lore guide's audio in our ears
we
right
can't
now.
hear. For what it's worth, we cannot hear them at all. And even if we could at the moment, I'd probably be like. Sorry.
No, that was a great impression of Fast Forward. Or a mouse, either of the two.
Hey, I'm a very large mouse, I'll have you know.
It looks like we're getting it all sorted out here, though, and the game is about to recommence.
So it does seem that that's what's happened there. We've taken back the boost of the Flynn Rider, so that card was put back at the top of the deck. That freed up an extra ink, which left 2 for Nathaniel to play this Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. So yeah, it seems like that's what's happened there, and we are resuming, and we're off.
A game-changing decision.
Absolutely.
Being at 8 and being at 10 doesn't seem like it's such a big deal, but that can be huge.
Absolutely huge. So yeah, fantastic. Fantastic that we were able to get that all sorted out and above board. But again, super important that you do call the lore guides for these things, right? Because I think Zach had actually drawn a card as well. Obviously, the card that was put underneath Flynn Rider wouldn't have been revealed. It goes face down. So, yeah, just making sure everything is above board. But we are back off to the races. Bivens thinking about what he wants to ink here. No, he's going to play down the Cinderella Dream Come True.
Right, and that Clarabelle clumsy guess came down, just like we were talking about, taking out one of the Amethyst Chromacons. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're absolutely right to, but it's worth pointing out as well that this second Cinderella that's come down is going to trigger not only herself, but the other Cinderella already on board. So he gets to trigger this ability twice. So you see there, ink draw, and a pass back to Nathaniel.
Double dipping.
Double dipping, absolutely. Absolutely.
A faux pas with Salsa, but, but not with Cinderella.
Her dream came true, I know that much. That Amethyst Chromacon going to be exerted, and each player may draw a card. It is a may, so Zach doesn't have to draw. I do believe he did, though. Questing away with the Pegasus, who is evasive, and, of course, that Diablo Obedient Raven, who's a 1-cost, 0/1, a quest for 1, and when banished, will just simply draw a card. Draw a card is, like, the most powerful piece of text on the card.
The Enigmatic Inkcaster is going to come down, and I do believe the card in hand I saw was Finnick, the Tiny Terror.
Ooh, to bounce back a character of 2 strength or less, which is pretty relevant.
That's you can play Finnick for just 1, or you can
pay 3.
You can pay 3.
You can pay 3 to bounce back a 2 strength or less, which can be Genie, that's Cinderella on the board, or in the mirror. You know, that could be a nice tempo beat if you bounce back a Cursed Merfolk, or maybe a Flynn before it's boosted, things like that. So yeah, Finnick, not quite the Kit Cloud kicker from days past of Infinity, but certainly doing his best impression.
But a little better even here, because having the option to play the 1 means that you can use the boost 2 off of Flynn Rider to gain the additional lore. He didn't have enough ink to play both the Finnick with the ability trigger and boost the Flynn Rider. It is a boost 2 card, so electing to just play down the Finnick, put an additional lore threat on board, and trigger the Enigmatic Inkcaster the same turn it comes down. I mean, I call that a great turn.
Absolutely, and we're up to 15, so Bivens certainly in a position where he needs to put the pedal to the metal. We have no way of dealing with this Pegasus from what's on board. Again, we need to get a look at Zach's hand and see what the options are, but nothing on board is touching this Pegasus. Zach looking like he's kind of playing out his line, seeing where he wants these challenges to go. The Diablo can be removed, no problem, but it will give Nathaniel a card. The Flynn Rider is probably trading. Well, you can put the Hades into it and then you survive. So there are some outs here, but 15 lore plus a Inkcaster on the board is kind of scary, Brent.
Plus 3 of your malicious, mean, and scaries are gone.
They gone.
You know it.
They gone.
You know it. Your opponent knows it. I mean, how are we going to touch
the lore guides know it.
Pegasus?
Everyone knows it.
Right. We can You're welcome Pegasus, but do we really want to give 2 cards to Nathaniel, and those 2 cards might be 2 Gathering Knowledge and Wisdoms?
Absolutely, yeah. There is a double-edged sword, giving your opponent that extra bit of gas, but if you've got to get rid of it, you've got to get rid of it. Basil looking to just quest here. Nothing in hand for Nathaniel, so no discard. And the thing is, even with an empty hand, you're nearly always guaranteed to be able to trigger this Inkcaster, Brent, because you draw a card per turn and then you can trigger the Amethyst Chromacon, so you're always going to have 2 cards in your hand. As long as you have the ink to play them both, then you're getting that lure every turn.
Which is exactly why this combo piece here with the Enigmatic Inkcaster and the Amethyst Chromacon, if you can take one of those away with your Clarabelles, you actually have a decent shot. I wonder if, it's going to be the Pegasus.
Interesting. Did that Basil quest, the first one?
That Basil did quest.
While Nathaniel had no cards in hand.
I believe so.
apologies if we missed something there, but if that is the case,
Perhaps
then...
not. Perhaps that card in the discard is the...
Oh, he's got 2 cards in hand. It was
Yeah.
too far back. We couldn't see them. I was going to say, otherwise, obviously, it would make more sense to bounce and then do the discard, but I'm guessing that did already happen. It looked like Nathaniel was out of cards.
Right,
but
right,
no,
right.
still some resources.
And this is only game 2.
Yeah. At round 2.
Round 2. So much action. Another they never
Oh, Brent,
came
I'm sorry.
back.
No. They never come back. Sorry, Brent. I've got to get your stuff in, man.
You gotta get them while they're hot. You gotta get them in. So that will constitute one of the cards that has been played with the Enigmatic Inkcaster here. I'm trying to look at what is in the hand of Nathaniel. Can't quite make it out based off of just the art, but the Finnick is going to go ahead and quest for 1 here. We're going to get up to 16. 1 more card we're going to play down, obviously. I assume we're going to be able to play another Enigmatic Inkcaster, which means we're going to get another 2 lore now.
We are, but Zach does have a lot of lore on board, but this They Never Come Back. How much is that going to offset him? There's
I think it's 18.
I think it's 2 Cinderellas, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he is capped. He can only get to 19. That is Cinderella at the top, right, underneath the little banner. It looks like it. Yeah, it's double Cinderella. The Basil and Hades aren't going to be allowed to ready. So 1, 2. Oh, maybe so.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
Right.
I doubted myself for a moment there. So yeah, 2 Cinderella. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lore on board. But if we have a Shift Clarabelle or a Shift Basil, I'm not sure if Shift Basil is in the deck, but that is a way to still get to victory.
Shift Basil onto the
Onto
the practice detective.
Yeah, the obviously you can see the 7-drop Basil there, but there's also the disguised detective. One of my reveal cards actually. Whenever you can shift for cost of 5, a quest for 2, and whenever you put a card into your inkwell, your opponent must discard a card. A nice detective package. I'm not sure if Bivens is playing the Judy Hops, which you would often see accompanied with these detectives.
The uncovering clues, which would lead you to believe that maybe we might see the Basil disguised detective.
Might not even be in the deck, right? You always play the Basils that are on the, like this blue-green deck always plays those Basil. It's just, do you also want to lean into a detective package, which kind of loses you a little bit of power, but in the trade-off is you get a bit more consistency to help you draw cards, help you find pieces, right?
And this is interesting. Zach has a lot of ink here. Elects to play down the John Silver. Play the You're Welcome onto the Enigmatic Inkcaster. I was like, how are we going to remove all of these threats onto the board? But it looks like Zach has some options. I believe I saw another You're Welcome in hand.
Yeah, there is another one in hand and a Vanquisher of Foes. We played the John Silver Alien Pirate. That gave Reckless to the Flynn Rider, and Nathaniel has represented that by slightly popping that card out of its case. Hey, whatever helps you remember. Then that You're Welcome is going to send back the Inkcaster. We're going to draw 2 cards. The Basil's going to quest, getting rid of the Little John.
I don't know if you saw what the other card was. It was Show Me More, which will allow Nathaniel to draw an additional 3 cards. If any of those cards happen to be the Enigmatic Inkcaster or the Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, then even with all of this expert gameplay that Zach is showcasing, Nathaniel's still going to win.
It's still going to be all in vain. That was a heck of a 50-50 chance, but Nathaniel, a sigh of relief maybe in the fact that he got to keep that Show Me More. Amethyst Gromacon going to find another card, and there it is. Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom takes Nathaniel to 20, and we're getting a game free, Brent.
That's what we always want, right? As casters, that is
Loves it, mate.
People say, who are you rooting for? I say I'm rooting for drama. I'm rooting for a good game 3. Zach Bivens on the play. Nathaniel Shaney, I want to say, on the draw. 3 points each. Round 2. Here we go. 30 minutes left. That's plenty of time with especially
with these decks, yeah.
Yes.
I would be very surprised if this went to time. Again, Emerald Sapphire can be a bit more of a slog, can take a little bit longer, but you kind of have to take a more aggressive game plan into this Speci special, as it were. Again, credit where it's due.
Zach looking like he's just going to keep the Basil, the Clarabelle, both of them the 1-costers, so he has something on the board to represent, some challengers to early on.
You need bodies down. You've got to be able to answer these Cursed Merfolks. Again, we don't have evasives for the Pegasus, but you need something for that. Yeah, we need bodies on board, and if nothing else, just to sing or set up our shift lines, right, for Clarabelle or Prince Philip.
And with all these Sapphire decks, you never throw away the Sail the Azurite Sea.
Oh no, again, with every single Sapphire deck in the game, turn 2 ramp is the most important thing ever. And if you're a newer player and you're thinking, what's ramp? Ramp is essentially just a term meaning we are putting extra ink into our inkwell per turn. So as a rule in Digital Lorcana, you may ink 1 card per turn from your hand. It must have the inkable flourish, but there are certain cards that allow you to put extra cards into the inkwell, and Sapphire does this better than anything else. So there's some in Emerald, there's a Hey that can ramp you, but Sail the Azurite Sea, there's the Tipo, also the Cinderella that we've already seen, the 4-drop, that's another way of ramping us up. Some people playing things like Kida, the other 4-drop, which allows us to put extra ink into the inkwell and unlock the high end of the deck.
Webby.
Yeah, absolutely. Webby's a great one from set 10.
Prospector. All right, Clarabelle's going to hit the inkwell, and Basil, Practice Detective, 2-1, give support. What more could you ask for? You want a friend that gives you some support, especially in these trying times, as the DLC participation award card,
Beautiful.
Pegasus, gift for Hercules.
It's my favorite. Honestly, it's my favorite out of all the season.
The colors,
promos.
right?
Like, super cute, and just, you get that just for playing in a Disney Lorcana challenge. So what are you waiting for? If you've been umming and ahhing about coming down to play some Lorcana at the highest competitive level, come on down, get yourself a Pegasus, meet some friends. Hey, maybe win a Golden Mickey, maybe qualify for Nationals, maybe, Brent, maybe the World Championship. Whisper.
In the well.
In the well.
Well. Clarabelle is going to come down here after the Sail the Azurite Sea. Unlike Tipo, when you ink for Sail the Azurite Sea, your ink comes in unexerted. You are able to play down your 1-cost Clarabelle here. And if you're Nathaniel, these decks, typically, when you are playing the burn style, when you are playing the aggro deck, right? When you are that deck, you're better on the play.
Yeah,
every
absolutely,
single time.
absolutely.
So what does Nathaniel have to do here? What's he hoping for?
Really, for Zach to miss, I think. And again, I half a joke, but half accurate, really. I think that's kind of the game plan into a lot of the Sapphire deck. You need them to miss a turn. Like, if they just go 2-4-6 and then powerhouse, it's so tough to answer. You need them to miss ramp 2. You need them to miss ramp 4. Or maybe they ramp up, but then you don't hit all of your big cards. Maybe you just keep drawing into more Cinderellas, more 1-drop Clarabelles, more 1-drop Basils. I think the game plan is to hope that they don't just hit the stone cold everything.
And Zach is right now kind of hitting the stone cold everything, having the 1-drop, having the 1-drop to play after. Yep. The Cinderella dream came down. We got an extra ink into the inkwell. This Shush agent is going to, the Scrooge McDuck Shush agent is going to represent 2 lore every turn, but it's an easy challenge. You don't even have to banish the character. You can challenge with a 0-cost character into him, and he goes straight back to the hand.
Purple Diablo challenging into a Scrooge is one of my favorite things to do. Be gone! Yo, Diablo, you thought you'd never take down a character, but this is as good as it gets. Oh, and we're going wide, Brent.
Woohoo! Honey Marin, the North Ultra Guide, a 2-2 quest for only 1, but when she comes down, if Zach has an exerted character, which he did, you gain an instant lore. The Little John Camp Cook also coming down. Oh, but Zach, he's going to empty out his whole hand and play the line that we've all seen from Emerald time and time again. The Shift Clarabelle, light on her hooves, a 5-6, a huge body, quest for 2, but at the end of your turn, you get to draw the amount of cards your opponent has in hand, which means Zach's going to get a fresh 3 cards.
You see you got 5 cards there? Oh, I think you mean we have 5 cards now. Thank you so much. Yeah, Clarabelle, she has been a force to be reckoned with ever since her introduction, with that really optimal shift line as well. The 1-drop Clarabelle, actually, again, a 1-drop shift target is always fantastic, but when you can break an item as an extra ability, that's great. There's the Contented Wallflower, who's the 3-cost. I don't think Zach's playing it, but it's perfectly reasonable to play. You may draw a card on play if your opponent has more cards in their hand than you, but yeah, this big Clarabelle, it incentivizes your opponent to play the game differently, to empty their hand when that might not always be optimal. Of course, Nathaniel is looking to empty his hand as much as possible and just like, go on, Brent, what have you seen?
Basil!
It's here.
The disguised detective, you called it out.
He's here.
I didn't think we were going to see him, but he is here. And now Nathaniel is going to be stripped away of some of those cards. One of those cards was gathering knowledge and wisdom, which is a crucial card for the deck.
The double malicious, mean, and scary again, Brent. And that is a complete board wipe, sending everything away. Just an enigmatic ink caster left. We're going to throw down a Chromicon to draw, but that was humongous. Basil played, inked a card, forced the discard, double malicious, mean, and scary. I am terrified.
Right as I was about to say, this is going to be a crucial turn because Nathaniel's really getting close up there with 9 lore, right? It's starting to get a little bit scary. Zach says, I ain't scared of nothing. You should be scared because I am malicious, mean, and scary. Wow.
I am the malicious, mean, and scary.
The perfect play. Discards a card from Nathaniel's hand, also gets rid of everything on his side of the board. Sure, we got the combo pieces we want. We got the enigmatic Inkcaster. We got the Amethyst Chromicon. But Zach Bivens has been questing this entire time, gaining lore steadily. He's only 4 lore behind.
We do have the baby Prince Philip, just as an observation.
Ooh,
when it's the Inkwell, but just interesting to see this there. Yeah, Bivens is the one who sings Say His Name.
And Hades.
Say his name.
Infernal Schemer puts the Shush Agent into the Inkwell. One of the cleanest ways to get rid of that card.
Has that Scrooge quested once?
No, just once.
Okay, once, great. All right, awesome.
We got 2 lore and a few discarded cards out of him as Zach is going to quest for 4, and now it's even Stevens, 10 apiece, but Zach is the one with the humongous board. If Nathaniel can't find some answers, those are not the answers he's going to want to find. It looks like he's going to be too slow to catch up.
Yep, Zach is the one who quests. We're going to pass ready, set, draw, as is the standard onset of Disney Lorcana trading card game. We have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lore on board. That can take us to 18. Nathaniel has the ability to go up to 13, courtesy of the 2 characters. If we assume a Inkcaster trigger, then that's going to take us to 14. So Nathaniel needs to be able to find a lot. 1 card in hand. We will draw another card for turn.
I don't even think that's a card.
Is that not a card?
That's not a card.
It's a pen.
He's playing around with a pen.
I'm confusing a pen with a card. I thought it was just like a perfect vertical down, but yeah, he's going to play the pen from his hand.
Right, yeah.
That's a pen trick right there.
I wonder how much that pen costs in ink, right? Hopefully he can rewrite his story on this next turn with that pen.
Rewrite history. Sorry. Sorry. What bad?
You don't have to apologize. Nobody, Baker. We're going to see your welcome hit the Inkwell here, Zach, with, I want to say, close to 100 ink in, but actually
100 ink.
Probably closer to 9, I suppose, as we quest
it's
out.
It's either 9 or 100, no in between. We're going to quest away all the way up to 18 lore, and we played another character, 1, 2 blue Sapphire card, so that looks like a Tipo to me.
Another enigmatic Inkcaster, and the game is over. There's no way to deal with Zach Bivens' board.
That was tense. Honestly, huge shout out to Zach. I mean, we all know he's fantastic, but I would have absolutely thought he was not favored in that game 1, especially where this Emerald, Amethyst, Burn deck that's looking to prey on these slower Sapphire decks. But Bivens able to take game 1. We were able to see the Burn deck do its thing during game 2, but ultimately going to Zach Bivens. But what a match.
He played that magnificently.
How'd you enjoy your first cast, man? How was that for a first go?
That was some of the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. I hope that you all at home are enjoying this too, because I am having a blast.
I am so glad to hear it, man. If you've got any messages for anyone that's never been to a Disney Lorcana challenge, what can they expect, man? Why should they come down?
You should come down because this is one of the finest communities in the TCG space. I believe that my wife is playing in the field today, and she sent me a text and said the 2 men next to me just finished their round 1 and hugged each other.
That's amazing.
How often are you going to see that in any other? You know what I mean?
It's a beautiful community. I also was speaking to some of our lore guides yesterday who were dealing with some of the side events, and there were a couple of instances of